If you've ever felt like words were failing you, no matter how hard you try, keep watching. Because I've got a perspective and a practice that just might help you navigate this conundrum we call life. By the way, I'm Michael Ravenwood, and I'm an empowerment coach that throws real lightning bolts. So, if you'd like to completely transform your life in 90 days, use the link in the bio or message me. It's actually a really interesting fact about the use of words that is little known. And on a deeper level, it actually has to do with the limitations of the logical side of our brain. Now, don't get me wrong, logic and reason are incredibly important and have their place. It's also just important to recognize how a more holistic perspective might take precedent. I'll give you an example. In the world of logic and reason, mutually exclusive propositions are a no-go. For example, let's say I say to you, lying is bad, lying is good. Confusing, right? Now, it doesn't take much to convince people that lying is bad. No one likes being lied to. It's happened to pretty much everybody and generally sucks. Those who think on a deeper level can understand that society really can't hold up if everybody's lying. Yet, if you were in 1942 and there was a Nazi at your door asking you if your neighbor was a Jew, and they were a Jew, the best thing you can do is lie. And so these mutually exclusive propositions are really dependent on circumstance. But then you might say, well, you can just use language to create conditions for everything and whatnot, but that doesn't hold up either. For example, 1 + 1 = 2. Now, there's hardly a person on earth who would argue with that, but how does 1 + 1 not equal 2? How does it equal, in a way, 3? Well, it's been demonstrated time and time again that when you add 1 + 1 in a mathematical sense, you can send rockets to the moon or out into space and get them exactly where you want them to go. So 1 + 1 definitely equals 2. But also, when you get one person and another person together and they start having a conversation, somehow this mystical third element arises. All kinds of ideas that neither of them had ever thought before will take place because of the interaction between the two elements. So, because of a synergistic or emergent effect, you can say that sometimes 1 + 1 = 3. I say all this simply to point out that language has its barriers, it has its limitations. As soon as you use any word, you're inherently implying not all of the things that are not that. Yet, in a deep and very profound way, everything is connected. And so it can just help us understand that truth, the real truth of our situation and our reality, is beyond words. Now, the practice I'll offer to you is this. If you're ever in a profound, deep, or confusing situation, you might just start to ask yourself, how can both sides of this situation be true under different contexts or circumstances? Or, this is true if I value such and such, versus that being true if I value something else. Many people get hung up in really, really deep conflicts with people just because they aren't aligned on their value system. But as soon as you take it to that level, sometimes you're able to find common ground. Even if the other person differs from you in their value system, they might understand why you value that other thing and come to respect you for it. And it is in this way that we might find a lot more peace and resolution in our lives. So if anything I said in this video made sense to you, or you'd like to transform your life in 90 days, use the link in the bio or message me.